Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. This segment we call Prep Rewind, where we catch up to studs like Kelly Holcomb here and find out about their gridiron experiences and what made them who they are. Obviously coming from Fayetteville, am I right?
That's right.
Is it
Absolutely.
Fayetteville or Fayetteville?
It's actually pronounced Fayetteville, but we call it Fayetteville down there.
Fayetteville?
Yeah, it's Fedville. It's spelled Fayetteville. Fayetteville.
They eliminate some
Yeah, we
syllables.
eliminate. It's like Shelbyville and Shelbyville.
Shelbyville.
So yeah, Fayetteville.
Right.
So don't make it too hard.
That's right. No,
Was football the long-term plan? Weren't you a pitcher?
I was a pitcher. Yeah, I was
And
a
a
pitcher and
shortstop.
shortstop. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And a
I was-
guard.
And a guard, yeah.
Man.
I try to play all three. My son's doing the same thing right now. It's a little bit harder nowadays, but I still think kids need a variety of sports. I mean, I think you can get so much from playing basketball. You can work on your footwork for a quarterback, or just anything in football, or baseball works on hand-eye coordination. So I think there's something to be said about kids playing multiple sports.
And just competing.
Absolutely. And they were talking to Urban Meyer a couple of years ago, and he talked about he did not like recruiting kids that were one sport kid. He loved going to watch them when they were in the recruiting process, and he loved watching them play basketball because he wanted to see those guys compete at something else other than football.
So it wasn't about the sport in particular, Kelly Holcomb. It was about maybe competing or working with guys to achieve a certain goal. What was it about?
Yeah, I can't say that. I mean, when I first started playing ball, I was obviously a baseball player. I wanted to play baseball, but when you start playing football and you start getting into football, and then I started receiving a few letters and some recognition for football, and football is just my love. It was your love. There's just something about being in a huddle with 10 other guys, and all the work that you put in it, all the weight room work that you put in, the film study, writing stuff down, meeting with coaches, going through the off-season program with your teammates. There's nothing like going through all that stuff, and then it comes down to a last drive and somebody's got to make a play, and there's nothing like football. That's why I worry about our game now with all the concussion stuff that's going on, but there's nothing that teaches kids about life other than this game. I mean, you can learn things from basketball and baseball and obviously the other sports, but football is just such a team-oriented deal, and it builds so much character in kids. I love it. I can't. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I love the game of football.
There's nothing like Friday night in the pit when you were there either, was it?
Well, there's nothing like now. I don't know if you can say that now, but
I said when you were there.
But when I was there, yes, there's nothing like playing in the pit. We had some really good football teams back then, and it could be the same way. If they hadn't done what they did with the school system, it could be the exact same way. But I'm a Falcon through and through, and I definitely bleed for those guys. And I know that they're on a tough road right now, a tough patch, but I know that they got the guy, Don Thomas, who can get them back on the right track.
Kelly, you mentioned the recruiting, that process that you went through, basically trying to help you figure out who you were.
Yeah.
Was it exciting for you? Was it anxious? I mean, were you nervous? Did you have lofty goals? What was that process like?
I don't know. Thinking back on that, Brad, I'm not really sure. I just know that you were getting letters from all these, you got letters from all over the place, and you took a couple of visits. I was actually supposed to go to University of Alabama the week after I came to MTSU, and it just didn't suit me. I ended up canceling my trip to Alabama, but I don't think it was an anxious process.
I'm sure that made your football coach real happy.
No, he was pretty mad. Coach Thompson was really upset at me. He was really upset at my parents. But when it boils down to it, wasn't his decision.
Right.
It was my decision. And
his coach, Coach Lewis Thompson, played at Alabama.
Yeah, he understood that. He did understand that it was my decision. But he said that they were going to offer me a scholarship. And years later, we were playing the San Francisco 49ers, and the wide receiver coach that was for the 49ers, I forget his name, but he was at Alabama. And he came up to me and he said, "Why did you not come?" He's like, "We were going to offer you a scholarship." And I said, "Hey, coach, it worked out."
I know that's right.
I think I believe in I believe in that. I mean, I think things happen for a reason, and I'm glad that I came up here with Coach Donnelly. Talked to him yesterday. My quarterback coach Alex Robbins, just talked to him before I got here. So those guys mean a great deal to me. And if the guys were at MTSU now, the same people were there, and I had it to do all over again, I'd probably do the same thing.
We're sitting here in the press box of Chief Win-a-lots. Excuse me, win them all. Win them all. Yeah, my bad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Chief is greedy.
It really is.
A lot isn't enough.
I think your kids go to school here. You mentioned.
I got two daughters. Yes.
You mentioned that. Does your son play multi-sports? You said.
He does. Yeah, he plays basketball, football, and baseball. He's at Christiana Middle School right now.
So how do you manage that? I mean, like, do you look at what he's best suited for, or do you inject what you think might be his future in what he's doing in multiple sports?
No, I just let him play what he wants to.
Okay.
And you know what? He's competitive, and that's what I've told. Yeah, he plays all three. And my middle daughter Jalen plays basketball here. She was on the state championship team here last year. And my oldest,
you're old.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. But my oldest, she played ball growing up, but she decided she didn't want to do that when she got here, which is fine. She likes to read a lot. But my other two, I've always told them that if you're going to play ball, and if you're going to play any kind of sports, you better be aggressive and you better work at it, work hard. And my younger two really do. They enjoy it. But I don't really force him. He wants to play it. He loves playing it. I'm not going to, if he wants to play baseball, that's fine. If he wants to play football, that's fine. I don't care, just as long as he gives his all. And right now, me being a proud parent, you don't like bragging on your children, but both those younger two are very competitive. They don't like losing, which is a key. You know that.
Where do they get that from, Kelly?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they get it from their mama, because their mama gets she's pretty competitive too, because we get out there and play tennis sometimes, and she gets mad at me when I hit the balls back at her. So she's when I start hitting them too hard, she gets pretty upset, because she wants to beat me, and she's beaten me before. But they get it from both sides, honestly. And but if they want to play, if they don't want to play, it doesn't matter to me.
Kelly, at what point did you start to feel like the NFL was a realistic ambition for you?
I don't even know. I just remember Coach Robbins coming out there my senior year, and I'd starting to get a little bit of buzz my junior year. But my senior year, I can remember people come watching practice. Scouts come watching practice, and then you have you had the same thing, Brad. I mean, you know that. I mean,
it's still exciting.
it is. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of oblivious to it. That there's a guy watching you there. I remember there was a guy from the Eagles come. Eagles were really interested in me. They sent a bunch of people down. The 49ers were there a couple of times. You just notice that, and then you think about, I might have a shot at this. If you just play well, you might. But I never really. I knew that I wanted to do something, but I never really had. I don't know. I never really had those. I wanted to play, but did you have aspirations to do that? Sure, but did you really think it was going to happen? I didn't know. I didn't know. And then you start seeing those guys come watch you practice, and then you think, well, maybe I got a shot. And then you get invited to the combine, and then that, it kind of snowballed into that. So it was a good experience.
Barcelona Dragons.
Yeah, Barcelona Dragons.
Played in We Left.
Yeah.
Really? You and Andrew Luck starting over in Europe.
That's right.
That's right. Actually, Andrew Luck grew up over there. I think his dad was coaching.
Oliver
was coaching over in Germany.
Yeah, that was a neat experience, man. That was good
That's
for a guy like
crazy,
myself.
yeah.
That was good for a guy.
Did they
like
recognize you? Kelly Holcomb.
It was.
Shout out. Are you
neat,
serious?
Yeah. No, it was
a long
neat.
way from Fayetteville.
It was a long way. and the food over there wasn't great, man. I lost some weight. I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and some ice cream at nighttime, because they tried to Americanize the food, but they really didn't know how to do it. And now I would be suited better, because I'm used to eating other things. But back then, man, I struggled with the food. But that was a great experience. And we it came down to the end of the year with us going to the World Bowl. The very last game, and I ended up getting my shoulder separated, kind of like what Jimmy Garoppolo's going through right now. They keep talking about he's going to play, and I'm like, come on, man, he's not going to play. But he might. I don't know. It might not be severe. I don't know.
I think he and Josh McCown went down with the same injury.
Yeah, it's tough.
The Browns. Matter of fact, before we wrap this thing up, man, what's wrong with the Brownies, dude? It's like they are snake bitten or something, man. I hate talking pro sports with you, but
they passed up Carson Wentz, and he looks like a seasoned vet. I watched him last night, and it's unbelievable how that kid's playing. I just don't know. It's part of a Friday deal where they can't get right, man. You know what I'm saying?
Can't get right in life.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It seems like they worry about public opinion too much instead of going and doing things like, and you hate to bring this up because I know that they're dreaded rivals, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, they don't worry about what everybody's saying. They go get the guys that they want. They do their study on those guys, and I just wish Cleveland is such a great place to play football. And if you get to going, I mean, I know the Cavs are great now, but if the Cleveland Browns got to winning games, that place would be crazy.
Yeah, I remember playing the old Michael Dean Perrys and
Oh, yeah,
guys
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
You're talking about your age.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a tweet at some point over the summer. You were the last Cleveland Browns starting quarterback to do something, and I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. They had something on there the other day. They were tweeting cartoon-like figures. I'll show it to you after this. Like all the quarterbacks that have played now they've set a new record where they've got 5 starting quarterbacks for the last 5 games. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Hey, I did read a stat though. You are one of very few quarterbacks to throw for 400 yards in a postseason game.
Playoff game, yes.
That's right, 423. Am I right?
For 429, I think.
420.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I mean, my bad. My bad.
Good. I mean, I'm good.
My bad.
You know, and then I think Peyton broke that. I know that there were 2 when it happened. I know that Dan Fouts and Bernie Kosar both were ahead, but they both did it in overtime. Mine was during regulation, and then Peyton, of course, Peyton did it. And I think Trent Green did it. So it's something to be recognized for, man. I just wish that everybody brings that game up to me, and the thing that I remember is we lost the dadgum game, and it was 33-13. Right before we started the fourth quarter. There's no reason we should have lost that football game, but we went into the prevent mode, which we all know in football, it prevents us from winning. So it's really irritating to me. Everybody brings that up, and I'm like, we lost the game, so really, who cares? You know? And we were playing good ball then, and I think that was the year y'all were in it. And I think we would have gone to Oakland the next week, but y'all had to play Oakland. Yeah, y'all had to play Oakland. I think they ended up getting y'all too, because that was the year they did. That was the year that I think they went to the Super Bowl.
Blistered us. They blistered us that year. As a matter of fact, they beat us twice. They beat us in regular season and beat us in.
And you know that. I mean, you know this. If you just have a chance and you can get in the playoffs and you start playing good, you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And
catch that fire.
We were starting to play good, and I just hate that we lost that game.
Well, Mo, you want to ask him about how he feels about officials, or?
No,
Let's don't do that.
I don't think anybody that knows that needs to know.
Yeah, we would not get another call, so let's don't do that, man.
Yeah, it's so much fun hanging out with this guy. Seriously, I was on the sidelines when they won state championship back in 1990.
Yeah, we had some good
talk
teams.
about age. Mo gets his in too.
No question.
Anyway, well, that's going to do it for another edition of Prep Rewind. Kelly Holcomb is our guest this week, and we'll catch you next time. So back to you, Brad and Mo.
How about that, man? That's some pretty good stuff right there.
Back to us.
Little known facts. Kelly did back up Peyton Manning when he was with the Colts. More notably, he was a Cleveland Brown, which I'm telling you right now, those cats are snake bitten. The fact that Corey Coleman, their star young wide receiver from Baylor, is down on IR, along with them losing 2 of their quarterbacks, Josh McCown and, of course, RG3. Now having to rely on another guy, Cody Kessler. This is just like, what is going on in Cleveland, man?
Well, I mean, I think he kind of hit on it. They can't get right. I mean, the whole Manziel situation and just one thing right after another. They just spinning their wheels.
Yeah, that is so cool though when you can see a guy's really maximizing an opportunity. Here's a kid from Fayetteville, Tennessee, finds himself over in what did he say? Barcelona? Where was he playing?
Yeah,
Barcelona.
The Dragons.
Yeah. Do you remember that? I mean, like the World League.
Well, I remember it because he played in it for one thing. But I mean, like I said, I covered him in high school and just kind of followed him through.
Who was probably the first athlete? Because I know that Kelly Holcomb is very dear to your heart. Who was one of the first athletes that you followed from their career here in Middle Tennessee, high school wise, to maybe doing something that's relevant in the pros?
You know, Kelly and the late Fred Lane Jr., who played for the Carolina Panthers, they were in high school at about the same time, and I had covered both of them. And Fred went down and played at Lane College down in Jackson and made it to the league as a free agent. And following both those guys at the same time was really pretty cool.
I know that's right. Hey, Mo and I will come back to wrap up this rascal, and as we do that, here's some highlights from the Franklin versus Ravenwood ball game. Stick around. Final thoughts in just a few minutes.